Notre Dame at Arkansas. Notre Dame is a 5.5-point favorite. They just got their first win of the season last week against Purdue, a very improved Purdue team, but still a Purdue team that is not very good. A team in Purdue that still has plenty of roster deficiencies that Notre Dame took advantage of. Notre Dame, though, is a team that, even though they're 1-2, they're much better than the record indicates. That's a team that just lost to Texas A&M by 1. That was a tough loss. You also lost to Miami by a single score. And so you're looking at a team that might be a little bit deceiving if you purely just look at the box score. If you just look at their record, you're going to think much differently than if you actually watch the games. Now, CJ Carr is going to have a good game against Arkansas. Not because the defense can't stop Arkansas's offense. Now, the Razorbacks offense is tremendous. Taylor Green is an absolute beast, and stopping him is not exactly easy. However, he needs to have a good game in this one because long-term what it means. We need to see the development in him. And so far, I think that he's looked fairly solid. I think that he's going to be a good quarterback, but you need to see those steps, right? He doesn't have to have this breakout game, but you do need to keep seeing the steps that he's taking. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to be able to keep making those smart decisions because he has so much talent at wide receiver and tight end that we haven't really seen enough of it yet. We haven't seen Notre Dame have that breakout game that we know they're capable of. Now, part of it has been play calling at times, but this is an offense that should be better than it is, plain and simple. And I think that Notre Dame fans would agree with that. They're a solid team, but I think that there's a level that they can reach that they haven't yet. CJ Carr is going to play a huge role in that. And you have so much talent around him. Look at the running back position, for example, Jeremiah Love. And this is a team that, believe it or not, can still make the college football playoff. College football right now is so much fun because you don't know what's going to happen. There are so many teams that can compete with the best of the best. And for those watching this sport, you look at Miami and you think that is a team that can win a national championship. Well, Notre Dame only lost to them by 3. That's a team that can compete. That's a team that can play. Now, they do have to take care of business. They have to find ways to get to that point where they can have an opportunity to compete. And that starts with the quarterback. And it's also going to rely on a defense going against an offense that, to me, is really explosive. But I think that people are still underrating this Arkansas offense. And if you're Notre Dame, you need to step up in a big way. Taylor Green has shown time and time again that he can tear apart a defense, that he can dominate when called upon. His experience in Bobby Petrino's system has yielded great dividends. And as long as they take care of the football, this is an offense that's going to be a problem. And Notre Dame knows that. Notre Dame, obviously, you want to see everybody healthy on this defense. You want to find guys that are going to be able to contain Taylor Green, and you're going to want to find ways to be disruptive. You have guys that can get to Taylor Green, but Green's mobility is going to put a lot of stress on this defense. And right now, it's like the Taylor Green show and a bunch of supporting characters. Now, there are guys that are going to be tough to stop. Mike Washington Jr. is very physical running the football. He's very tough to tackle. He is a good complement to what Taylor Green wants to do offensively. If you can name an Arkansas wide receiver as a casual college football fan, more power to you. That is a tough assignment, if you will, but that doesn't mean that they can't make plays. That does not mean that they can't tear apart a defense. And with the injuries that we've seen so far this year to Notre Dame's secondary, we've seen opportunities for teams to expose that defense. And for the most part, it hasn't happened, but there are instances that Bobby Petrino is going to watch and see, hey, these are the guys that we can target. You look at what Malachi Tony did to this defense in the slot. That is something that I guarantee you Bobby Petrino is trying to figure out, how do we get that and how do we expose that avenue there. Omega Blake is going to make your life tough on the outside, but Notre Dame has two good corners that should be able to compete with him. I think the big challenge for Notre Dame, and the area where I think Arkansas is going to utilize him, is Rohan Jones. You look at what they did last week against Memphis, they used him in a lot of different ways. And Bobby Petrino is going to try to find ways to get him the football and see what he can do. And especially against this Notre Dame defense, which had some issues in the slot and maybe with the tight end position a little bit too, that maybe is a potential avenue for Arkansas to explore. Taylor Green needs help, plain and simple. He has guys that are capable of making plays. And this is an offense that just has to get out of its own way, honestly. The turnovers have been killer. The reason why they've lost 2 games is because of turnovers. And part of that's on Taylor Green. He threw 2 picks last week. There was also the Mike Washington fumble that sealed the game for Memphis. There was also a fumble against Ole Miss as they're driving. So as long as they take care of the football, I think Arkansas can give Notre Dame a run for their money. If they can't take care of the football, Notre Dame's going to take care of business. And right now, it feels like Notre Dame will win this game. The big key here is, especially with Sam Pittman's job on the line, Arkansas has to refocus. They have to dial it back in and think about what is going to be most important. Figure out the basics of it, get back to the fundamentals, and if Notre Dame gets up early, not just cave because things are hard. That is going to be a big key. Early in this game, how much does Arkansas want it? You already have 2 losses. And in the SEC, when you're going to face tougher competition, that is going to be a big thing. Because as soon as they start seeing that, hey, this isn't going our way, they have 2 options. We can fight back and find a way to win this, or they can cave. This is early for, I don't want to call it a quit watch, but Notre Dame's also trying to avoid its 3rd loss of the year. So one of these teams is going to get it. Notre Dame just appears to have maybe more on the table for them. And Arkansas right now is reeling from a tough loss. If they're not going to have a hangover game where they struggle early, then this could be a thrilling matchup. I think this is going to be a really fun one as long as Arkansas stays invested. I mean, I don't want to say that Notre Dame's going to give up. They just don't appear to be that team. Marcus Freeman just doesn't have that as an acceptable avenue. Not saying that Sam Pittman believes that, hey, yeah, we can quit, but the circumstances are a little bit different there. I do think that Notre Dame takes care of business. I do think they win this football game, but I also know that Arkansas is very capable of making Notre Dame's life a lot more difficult than it needs to be, and they are also capable of winning this game.